Is it okay to not have friends? Is it okay to just work, come home, read book and go to sleep? What are your thoughts about life this? If that's where you are in life, and are there by choice, then it's fine. There's no reason to feel ashamed about your social life. However, I will say that during times of difficulty, it sure is nice to have friends to fall back on. It can feel very lonely when you are going through something bad, even when you do have friends around. Being literally alone in those moments feels a lot worse to me. As you grow older, you'll wish you had friends. I have this problem with my mum. She never really had friends and still doesn't. Dad passed away 2.5 years ago and now she has no one to talk to except us kids. I'm there for her always when she needs me, but I feel she needs people her age she can talk to about things people her age would be interested in. Also, friends help you find opportunities in life. Looking for a job and can't find one? Maybe a job has opened up at your friend's workplace and he lets you know in case you're interested. Living life and sharing memorable experiences with one another is what makes us human and makes life all the more interesting and fun. Friends help you forget how hard life can be from time to time. It could be 1 or 2 friends. That's enough. I have like 3 close friends. It's perfectly okay to not have friends if you've no need of friends. That is to say that if you are capable of living a fulfilling, happy life without having friends, there's no need for you to have friends just for the sake of having them. If you're satisfied in a friendless existence, then that's all there really is to it. That said, having friends will likely make your life easier, as they can be a support network for when things aren't going well in life, whether that be having a place to stay or emotional support. Unpopular opinion. It's one of those things that people underestimate the importance of. I think it's crucial for life satisfaction and mental health. Also, I believe there are studies on this in regards to lifespan. I'm a homebody, but I also have friends. It's nice to have people to talk to and go out with when I do feel like going out. As a single person living on my own, friends help me get through those dark times. There's a lot of life to live out there. Having a healthy balance is good too. I feel this. I spend a lot of time hanging out on my own, but I also have people I talk to and sometimes go out and do stuff with. I sometimes go weeks or months without hanging out with anyone, but it sure is nice to always have people to talk to regardless of if we're doing stuff together or not. As someone who has no friends, other than my spouse, I'm happy to report it's fine if you're fine with it. Seriously, I don't have any friends. Zero. None. I'm cordial with people, but I've never felt comfortable socializing. I wouldn't say I dislike people, I just see no point in being around them. Occasionally I've wondered if I'm missing something, but when I imagine what that something might be, it simply doesn't sound appealing. Go watch the game with the guys. I can do this in the comfort of my home. Invite people over for dinner, they can eat at their own house. Join a LARPing group, WTF. It all sounds so involved. I've had friends and not had friends at various points in my life. As long as you find positive moments and enrichment on your own, you don't necessarily need friends. That being said, it is absolutely easier to find these things if you have people you get along with. I'm a natural born lighthouse keeper. Shame those jobs don't exist anymore. Used to be pretty social in my 20s, but always knew it would come to this. People are just a pain in the ass. Never underestimate the pleasure of peace and quiet as you get older. Being aware of your mental health is key. If you don't catch depression at the beginning and take appropriate steps, not having any friends can spell disaster. Not saying that a friendless lifestyle will always lead to depression, just that since there's a possibility, one should be aware. We are social creatures. Our brains desire the interaction. However, if you don't like or enjoy socializing, maybe your brain is different. I would be honest with yourself. If you are truly okay with this, then great, but if you are depressed or isolated, then get help, seek others. I say this as someone who hates most people and generally prefers to be alone, but human connection, to some degree, is vital to the human experience. And I mean connection on a higher level than just colleagues. Sharing and interacting and building relationships is freaking lame for the most part, but having a small few people to live with is important. But that's just my opinion. I've read somewhere, whether it was in a book or article, perhaps both, when it comes to dating advice, to beware of people who do not have long-term friends, because it's a sign they may not be a swell person deep down. I can somewhat see the need to be cautious, but I don't know how to feel about that statement. I'm mostly a loner at heart like you, preferring to play by myself and socialize anonymously online like Reddit. I don't think it would be fair to categorize me as a red flag just because of that, but I'd like to hear what others think. I do have a few friends that I don't talk to all that much anymore though, we're busy with our own thing. Well, it is not reply per se, but we are social creatures, so joining book club or talking to library worker will be enough for a day. This is a question only you can answer for yourself. If you're getting all the fulfillment you need from living that way, if all your needs are being met, then no one else's opinion is relevant. All I can tell you is that I personally wouldn't enjoy a life like that, and would need at least 2 or 3 friends to speak to every few days. But that's a reflection of me and my social needs. If yours are different, a life like this might suit you. While there's no one to say whether or not it's okay other than you, I think it's easy to get stuck in a repetitive pattern like that. It's not painful, it's not problematic, so it's easy to stay there without really trying to break out. Work gives you a semblance of meaning and purpose, so that part of the story is taken care of, but I always wonder what the point of spending 80 years in life is if all we do is get through it. Maybe there's more to life, to explore, to do stuff only you can do, to try things that involve risk, to live a life that reveals something about you or life itself. If all we do is work and sleep, then we're literally a cog in the machine, serving the machine, and nothing more. If there is no purpose to life, I think that's unfortunate, but I can deal with it. But if there is a purpose to life, then it's even more unfortunate if we ignore it and don't try to figure out what it may be. Because then there was a point in being here, only we didn't care. Friends are overrated. Having no one means there's no one to disappoint you. I find the older you get, the harder it is to trust people and make those meaningful relationships. Having friends is cool, but at the end of the day you only have yourself. If you are happy and content with this life, then it is okay for you. No one should tell you how to live your life. But for the majority of people this would get very lonely. I believe it's fine not to have friends, but I also believe that networking is an essential means to success. So, take that how you may. I would say networking is the least important benefit of having friends. TLDR. Nothing wrong with it, but if you change your mind for a day, look for a local club that may suit you. There's really nothing wrong with it. I personally find it very hard to form close bonds with people. As such, I've never really exceeded about 3 good friends. I find that I'm perfectly capable of enjoying my own company, and certainly in the wake of a bad breakup that was certainly helpful. However, on reflection, I'd typically say I was always happier when I at least had the option to do something more sociable. On that note, you don't need close friends to do sociable things. You could look up board game clubs or book clubs in your area where there are strangers either willing to engage in something new with you or talk to you about the books you enjoy. My girlfriend was an introvert. When we met, she had a few high school friends, but over a period of 5 years, she lost them all one by one and became what you described. Worked, read books, ate, slept. She had me. She said she was happy. I had done enough research on caring for an introvert to give her space. It took a toll on me, getting harder and harder to get her to do the minimum of things. Basic things like how about to walk at some point this week became how about to walk at some point this summer, how about we take a drive out to another city to do anything. She always refuted, happy to just nest and read a book. I became a jerk that forced her to come to my parents for Christmas. They're nice people. Nothing out of the ordinary. My last straw was when she refused to come to my sister's wedding. A local thing. Noon to midnight. She just refused. It was too much. I tried to get her to go to therapy, couples counseling. It all came down to it being those are your problems room method. So we broke up after 14 years together. I wasn't happy. She moved out without a fuss. Said she'd be okay just working, eating, reading and sleeping. I called her parents to let them know she changed her address. She wasn't in communication with them either. These are red flags. I tried calling her for a year afterwards. Stay friends. Something. I got the short, concise, dismissive replies for 2 months. and then I got radio silence. COVID started and the radio silence continued. It's been 2 years today since she moved out. 2 years since I last saw her. 2 years since I spoke to her. She's still listed in her employer's work directory with an updated photo, so she's still got a job. So in general I don't worry about extremes, like her having falling off the face of the earth and dead. But I still worry. It's hard imagining that she could feel so alone with no one left to turn to. Be careful, dude. Take care of yourself. It's okay to have friends to look out for you too. Totally okay. Social media gives people the false idea that people used to have friends and mingle. Nah, we all used to sit in our homes with our families and do nothing. If you're asking the question in a public forum, you must feel some type of way about it. Introversion is no excuse. Friends help us navigate life, hobbies, relationships, family and tragedy. It wouldn't work for me. I'm introverted, but crave community, so having a small group of close-knit friends is really important for my mental health. If it's what you want from your life and you're content and happy, then it's okay. Everyone finds peace in different things. Some people don't need connections or friends to be happy. Yes, assuming you are doing it voluntarily. I personally live this way. If you are having trouble socializing, up your acting skills and observe others to learn your environment. Yeah, lol, do you, man? Who cares? They don't pay your bills. I have my close inner circle who don't stress my life out at all. They are the ones we can just sit and watch a movie in silence and it was good time. I only spend 2 days a month with my other friends' co-workers unless they have a birthday that month, then I subtract a day seriously. I don't have the space in my mind for it all. I dedicate like 80% of my life and well-being to myself. I'm not burning up time sitting at the bar just to be normal. Until you meet a real friend, someone you honestly trust, etc. Don't waste your time if you like to ride solo. I don't see why it shouldn't be okay. However, I've found myself hiding from others several times the fact that I don't have a single friend, and that's because it sounds weird and leads to questions and cringe, like it was due to a mental disorder or something. It is, of course, perfectly valid to be this way. There will be some people who prefer this and can function just fine on their own. Generally speaking though, humans need companions, and if someone doesn't want friends at the moment, it might be that there is an underlying problem they are not addressing. Absolutely possible they are one of the aforementioned people who are okay with being alone, but I think they are rare. It's much more likely that there might be something going on that they should check out with a therapist. I believe that humans are gregarious creatures and that no one wouldn't be better off with a good friend. Finding good friends is not always easy though. It's uncommon, but not good or bad. They have always been loners in any society. I do think it's insightful to figure out why you feel this way, to establish if you have a truly intrinsic desire to be alone, or perhaps other factors are at play. Yes, I have a wife and kids, but I don't have friends I hang out with. Sure, my wife is my friend and I do everything with her, but I don't have anyone I hang out with, so it's perfectly normal. I think you have to define what okay is. Not having friends doesn't mean you're a bad person or that you're not going to get a certain job, unless you're incapable of maintaining a friendship, which may speak to your personality. But as others have said, there are many benefits to having friends, and without friends, you miss out. So that isn't great, or even okay. It's great if you're introverted, but there's no rules. If you're into it and you enjoy it and you're happy, that's all that matters. Yep, it's fine. Everyone has different personalities and socializing, or lack thereof, needs. What matters is that you're content, safe, and healthy. It's fine, but take some time to think about why that's your life. I've always identified as a loner. It has taken a lifetime to realize why I turned out that way and start to open up the option to find a little more connection in the rest of my time on this planet. If you're happy content with that life, then it doesn't matter what other people think. There's no real roadmap for the right life. If that's how you wanna live, then do that. Power to you for knowing what you want. I am a loner and mostly never mind it, but I also try and do good and not focus on just myself for the course of my life, so I'd say it's good to try and dedicate some of your time to others in ways that doesn't encroach on your loner life too much. If being alone is what makes you feel calmest, why? It's a sad thing to go down in life knowing you never made a positive difference in anyone's life in any manner of your own choosing. I think it depends on your overall social circle, which includes family. So long as you have some people in your life who care about you, it doesn't matter, in my opinion, whether this is friends or family. Not having friends doesn't necessarily mean you're in isolation and lonely, but loneliness can be tough and is best avoided long term, which can be alleviated through connections of all types, including virtual. I think it depends on who your friends were. I had a friend I met online that lived in Montreal in 1998 and spent pretty much every day with her from 2002 until 2018, and now she's gone. Her I miss. I'd give anything just to know how she's doing, especially with the world the way it is now and how bleak the future looks. We watched so many movies, TV shows and talked about so many things. She was the best support I could ever hope to have in life. My current situation isn't great and she made things bearable. I can say that not having her around anymore and having nobody to really talk to about what happened with her made me really bitter and resentful, but it's on me for focusing solely on that relationship over others. Conversely, I have viral friends that I wouldn't miss at all, for a lot of reasons. So unless you have someone you feel could be truly special in your life, I wouldn't sweat not having a social life, but if you do know of someone like that, you should probably try and put the effort in, even if it ends. It's at least something you had in life. However, if you are perfectly fine doing what you're doing, only you can decide if that's how you want to keep on keeping on. I wish you luck in life either way. This is completely fine as long as you are personally satisfied and happy with the life you're currently leading. If you feel like you want friends but have social anxiety, then you should try to work towards fixing it by gaining confidence and trying to get yourself out of your comfort zone. There are plenty of resources out there for this. Sending good vibes your way and wishing you luck. Do you want to live to work, or work to live? Ask yourself this seriously. The first alternative means that your whole daily routine will revolve around your work. Eating and sleeping are just means to be able to do more work. For example, medical doctors working for Doctors Without Borders may live this way for a limited time and find that lifestyle immensely valuable. The second alternative means working only so much that you get money to do the pastime activities you actually want to do. For example, if you have a passion for surfing, you work to sustain yourself but make sure to have enough time off to be able to surf. This may come at the expense of promotions, lavish home, etc. It's just recently that I've realized I probably want to work to live. For many years I assumed live to work was the only way, but the more I think about it, I realize there are way too many places I want to visit, foods to eat, and experiences to experience even on my own, for me to highly prioritize the office. That is pretty much what I do from October to March. If you are content with it and it doesn't affect you negatively, it should be okay. It is your own choice. I personally think it is good to have people in your life. I went many years pretty much isolated from everyone. It was not good for me mentally or physically, but not everyone is the same. If you are truly happy in life like that, I see no harm in it. Do what makes you happy. I have no friends. In my experience, they all abandon or betray you in the end. Honestly, I've been fine without them. They only ever dragged me down. Being alone means dealing with problems alone, but really, if I had friends I'd probably do that anyway. If I didn't, they'd probably make things worse. In the words of Big Mama, child, it's better to be alone with yourself for the rest of your life than to be in bad company for a minute. No complications. No problems. Make great food, sit with the dogs, listen to music, look after the plants and be peaceful. I feel life is about making a difference in the world. Be it to few or many, it doesn't matter. If you find satisfaction in the work you do, that is of course amazing and more than most people can say. I don't know what you do, but I at least hope it's nothing like sales or something else counterproductive. We're social animals, but not all of us are wired the same. Some of us are just recluse or feel misunderstood by just about everyone, so social interaction seems exhausting. I've flipped from one end to the other a few times and I just wish I had more people in my life. Not just people but meaningful friendships. And you can't just expect those to knock on your door, so oftentimes I have to weather social situations to try and find the right people for me. Sadly, the Rona is making even that difficult. I do have some real good friends, but some of them just live so far away in different countries that it doesn't make it easy to find companionship in lonely times. Whatever you feel like is good for you, but you don't ask this question because you're absolutely certain. On the other hand, you don't need to force yourself to be normal. In my case, I've struggled with depression, which I covered up for years with addiction. Now I'm feeling better and I have basically 180'd on most of what I considered was my personality. I used to be totally zen and patient, and now I'm struggling to control my short fuse. I used to always say yes, and now I'm having to keep myself from saying no too much. Maybe you have something in your life or habits that is pushing away a part of you too. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.